Welcome back to Collecting Elvis on Vinyl, part 7. Today I thought I'd do something a little different. We are in the middle of the Camden albums, but I thought we'd change it around a little bit. I promise I will get back to the Camden albums and complete the whole collection on video. But today I thought we'd take a look at something different. And these are obviously the soundtrack albums. As everyone should know, Elvis made 33 films. Out of the 33 films, there was 18 soundtrack albums, 7 EPs, and 8 films which didn't have an EP or an LP. In this batch I have included the That's the Way It Is soundtrack as well, even though technically it isn't a soundtrack. And I've also included King Creole. There were 2 EPs of King Creole, but I've included the album here as it did come in album form also. And the EPs had 4 tracks on each, 8 tracks. The album has 11. So let's get started. These are all UK English copies, apart from That's the Way It Is, which is obviously a stereo. I do have variants of all of these. Stereo, mono copies, USA copies, German copies, some Brazilian copies, Japanese copies, which hopefully I'll show on a later video. But for now we'll just do a little overview of the soundtrack albums. So we'll start with, in England, it was a 10-inch LP, Lovin' You. This was released as a proper 12-inch album shortly after Elvis passed away. But that's how it came originally, 57. Next we have King Creole. GI Blues. Blue Hawaii. Girls, Girls, Girls. Happened at the World's Fair. Fun in Acapulco. Kissing Cousins. Worst About. Girl Happy. Harem Holiday. No laughing at the back, please. This was called Harem Scarum in the US. It's a lot of bad press, this LP. However, I don't think it's his weakest soundtrack album. Frankie and Johnny. Another one which comes in for a fair amount of criticism, but I quite like this one also. Paradise Hawaiian Style. Now this, if I had to choose, would be my least favourite soundtrack. California Holiday, called Spin Out in the US. Double Trouble. Clam Bake. Speedway. Now this is a mono copy, but the initial presses didn't say stereo or mono on the front cover. You had to reverse it, and there you'll see mono and the label, RD code. And of course, that's the way it is. Again, this is not really regarded as a soundtrack album. Most fans know that the songs were heard in some shape or form. I think 9 tracks out of the 12 were heard in the film, but not in the versions on this album. I think there was only 2. I just can't help believing and patch it up, which were the same as the ones which were featured in the film. This is obviously a stereo copy. The rest are all mono copies. Originally, the mono copies back in the day, people liked the mono, so when it changed over to stereo, stuff like Blue Hawaii, Girls, 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 Fun in Acapulco happened at the World's Fair. These were actually harder to get on stereo than mono, because stereo, people didn't seem to trust it back in the day when it first came out. Case of if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Then later on, it would be the reverse. When stuff like this come out, Speedway, Clambake, and Double Trouble, people have got used to stereo by then. So these copies in mono probably are more rarer to get and hold their price a little bit more than the stereo counterparts. Okay. So I do have variants of all of these albums, and I hope to show them at a later date. A few American releases now. I have quite a few of these, so I've just pulled 6 out for now to show. They've all got the same label, so I thought I'd show them all together. The first one is Greatest Show on Earth. This was on the newer black RCA label. Also had special products written down the side. It's come out in 1978. That's the back cover. And this was done by the Candlelight Music. We've done a few Elvis compilations. This is for Jake if he's watching. Okay. Elvis Sings for Children and Grown-Ups too. This also came out in 1978. And a gatefold sleeve. Like so. On the back, look like that. A free greeting card. And it's, well, as every fan knows, it's probably the worst compilation ever. If you look at the songs. Personally, I don't think Angel should have been on there at all. I should have maybe have gone the whole 9 yards and put Barefoot Ballad on there or something. There's the label. All these releases bear the same label, so I won't show you them. They've all got the same label. Next one, Legendary Concert Performances. Cover borrowed from Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee album. There's a double album in a single jacket. Which also came out in 1978. Moving on, same picture again. This one's the Elvis medley. Came out in 1982. That cover looks like that. Listing. Moving on to 1986. Return of the Rocker. cover. Track listing. Yeah. The last one for now is the #1 hits. Adding in the sleeve with it. 1987. 10-year anniversary. And there's the tracks, all #1s in the USA. Out of these in the UK, All Shook Up, Jailhouse Rock, to It's Now or Never, Are You Lonesome Tonight, Surrender and Good Luck Charm were all #1s also in the UK. In his lifetime he had 16 #1s in the UK. And there's a small selection of USA compilations. In one of my previous videos I gave a shout out to a new release from Elvis in Nashville, a CD release. If you were looking for something for Christmas, treat yourself. This one came out before that. This one's a bit expensive, so if your pocket can afford it, then go for it, but if not, maybe let it go. My apologies to anybody else out there that I spoke to when I said that I wasn't going to touch this release. It was too expensive. A lot of the stuff had been out before. I think there was only, if you had the bootlegs and you had a lot of that's the way it is releases, there was only probably 5 or 6 tracks that you needed. But it does come with 2 lovely 300-page books. So in the end I relented. And there it is. I won't lift it up as it's too heavy. But if you have this sort of material, this does feature a lot of this stuff that's on this new box set. And if you're privy to bootleg releases, stuff like the Bilko, this was a very nice release when it came out. Electrofines, another one. A lot of that material is on here, but obviously it's in better quality, but they are rehearsals. Elvis is singing off mic sometimes. He doesn't take it very seriously. We all know what Elvis was like for rehearsals. At least he was turning up in 1970 for the rehearsals. If your pocket can afford it, go for it. A better release, I think, which also features some rehearsals, was this one, the concert one. I'll let you look at the track listing there. This I would highly recommend. There is a lot of repetition on it, but the sound quality is top notch. If you can still get that, it's well worth it. Also the 69 one, again a lot of repetition but in excellent sound quality and a very good box set. Highly recommended. So just remember, while there's music, life's no waste. See you soon on the next video. Thanks for watching.